Hello guys, welcome back to my coverage of RuPaul's Drag Race UK. Today I'm going to be talking about episode 6 and it was the branding challenge. Another strong episode this week. It wasn't quite as good as Snatch Game or the girl group challenge, but still decent. The queens this week had to design their own brand of bottled water. Some might question the relevancy of this task because what on earth does bottled water have to do with being a drag queen? You'd think they'd do something like makeup or high heels, but regardless, the skills are still applicable to any artist, regardless of what it is you're branding, because the way you mold your image and your persona is part of your brand. So yeah, regardless of the fact it's bottled water, this is still a good challenge because it always provides some laughs when the queens have to make their own adverts. The top 5 are all so likeable, and we're at that point this season now where I've gotten so attached to all the queens where it's getting so hard to say goodbye to them. You don't want any of them to go. And the lip sync for your life this week, I was on the edge of my seat because I love both Blue and Cheryl, and I honestly didn't know who Ru was going to pick to stay and who to go. I actually thought it might be a double Shantae this week because they were both so good in it. Sadly, this week we had to say goodbye to the queen who blended pure innocence with pure filth, and that's Northern Ireland's supreme twink queen, Blue Hydrangea. I actually got a little bit teared up when she left because I grew to really love Blue. She had a really good arc over the season because she started off as just one of the young queens who you didn't really give much thought to because the young queens very rarely do well in a show like this, but she steadily got better as the show progressed. She got stronger. She sort of blossomed and came into her own. That's really good TV when you see someone progress and grow. But it was sad to see Blue go. I really did grow to like her over the last few weeks, and she kept making me laugh with the whole clippity clop bitch and splish splash bitch. I guess now it'd be bye bye bitch. The drama this week came right at the beginning of the episode between the Vivienne and Divina and Campo when they came back to the workroom and they started getting undressed and talking about who they would have picked to have been in their girl groups that week if they had won the mini challenge. And Divina and Campo didn't like the fact that the Vivienne wouldn't have picked her first to have been in her girl group despite her many years of experience with choreography, doing the splits, a whole 4.5 octave range thing. Yeah, she didn't like the fact that she was so underappreciated by the Viv, and yeah, the resentment just seemed to bubble over this week. Anyway, that drama between the two of them seemed to trickle in and out all the way through the episode this week, even if it was a bit produced. First of all, in the mini challenge when they were playing that game of Big Black... Sorry, I meant to say boxers, briefs, or commando. Whoops. Anyway, when Divina and Campo won that challenge, there was obviously a cut to the Vivienne to see her reaction. Shady side eye. And then in the workroom, Ru was asking Divina for the tea, and it kept cutting to the Vivienne and Baga slyly bitching about Divina and the whole silver dress, red wig thing. Drama! And then in the actual challenge, whilst they're recording their adverts, there were all those cuts to the Vivienne and the rest of the queens looking bored and unimpressed with Divina and Campo's advert. I mean, it was just shady editing, but they were really hammering home this whole rivalry between them. Come to think of it, all the drama that has occurred this season, the catalyst for it seems to usually be the Vivienne. In the first episode, the producers were trying to force a bit of drama between the Vivienne and Cheryl Cole. There was a little bit of rivalry there. In the 4th episode, the Vivienne was really pushing Something Wong's buttons when she was giving her all this advice and she was getting overly confident with how many badges she had won. And now in the 6th episode, she's pissing Divina and Campo off. Plus, in the workroom, she was employing shady tactics to try and get in Cheryl Cole's head when she said, to be honest, I think the judges are sick of seeing the whole Essex girl thing, give them something new, which, to be fair, is true. I'm kind of bored with the whole Essex girl thing from Cheryl Cole, but at the same time, it was kind of shady. She was telling Cheryl to use that Welsh accent in her advert, even though it was atrocious, which makes you think, is she trying to sabotage her on some level? The Vivienne's flawless record was damaged last week when she landed in the bottom 2, so maybe she's getting more vicious with the competition. Remember at the start of the season when they tried to pit the Vivienne and Cheryl Cole against each other, and it kind of looked like Cheryl Cole was going to be the villain of this season? Might want to think again who the real villain might actually be. Personally, when it comes to the Vivienne, I do think that her heart and intentions are in the right place. She clearly does care about all the girls, but at the same time, she is so determined to win that her actions almost seem motivated by winning, and it's hard to tell if she's being tactical or being genuine. So, what do you guys think? At the start of the season, I was on Team Vivienne. I wanted her to win, but over the weeks, I kind of fell in love with Divina and Campo, and last week I was like, yeah, I think I want Divina to win because she represents the brand in a better light. But this week I kind of lost favour with both of them. They both didn't behave very well this week. There was a lot of unsportsmanly behaviour in this one. They were just so catty and so bitchy and just very petty with each other. Both of them showed some ugly colours this week, and neither of them were particularly likeable. Same goes for Baga. I lost a bit of respect for her this week with her whole attitude to her thinking she was going to be in the bottom two and she was going to be eliminated because she wasn't in the right outfit, she wasn't going to give it her all, she doesn't know the words, she wasn't even going to bother to learn the words. What kind of attitude is that when you've been slaying this competition? The first time you get to an obstacle that you just completely give up. Cheryl Cole was completely right.
Pull yourself together.
But I guess that's just the pressure of the competition really getting to them now because there's so few of them left. Again, it is a really strong top four, and I'd be happy to see any of them win it, even though I don't think Cheryl will win it because she hasn't had any wins, and that stuff does count. But regardless, the big three that could win it, the Viv, Baga, and Divina, all lost a bit of favour with me this week because of the behaviour or their attitude. So right now, I'm not sure who I think deserves to win. As for the main challenge this week, nobody's advert was a train wreck. Everybody did deliver some laughs in their adverts. You would think with a name like Blue Hydrangea that she would have the easiest and most obvious branding for this challenge, but she didn't really apply what Ru told her in the workroom to the challenge because Ru said there was more to Blue than just the whole smutty Mary Berry persona. She was sort of leaning on that as a crutch in order to get laughs, but the advert started off strong. That felt like quintessential Blue, but then by the end of it, she just sort of reverted back to the whole trashy, filthy Mary Berry, licking and sucking, dirty humor. That just feels cheap. It just feels like a cop-out at the end of the advert, so I can see why Blue was in the bottom. But I will say, I did love that moment in Blue's ad where she said, "Are your country's laws discriminating against you?" That was a great dig. But the rest of the ad was just pure filth. I mean, they say sex sells, but the judges weren't buying it. I loved the Vivienne's advert. The bit where she tossed the baby away was priceless, and Divina swimming through the bottles. I also quite like Cheryl Cole's advert too. That whole finger thing might be the funniest Cheryl moment we've had all season. It didn't even line up with the end product, but that was what made me laugh. But it was Baga, again, who dodged a bullet this week with her advert. The whole chippy water thing was funny, but it just lacked focus as an advert. It was messy, but because that's kind of Baga's brand, she got away with it. I'd have had her in the bottom two this week, but never were the producers not going to have Cheryl Cole singing for real life Cheryl. It's just too good TV. The lip syncs this season have steadily gotten better, and Blue Hydrangea and Cheryl Cole's lip sync was by far the best one that we've had because there was a lot of emotion between the two of them because they were best friends, they had a lot of energy, and they were both fighting for it. The dancing was all fabulous, and there was even an emotional moment on stage when they connected. To be fair though, this lip sync was custom made for Cheryl to win. I mean, first of all, Cheryl Cole makes a living off singing Girls Aloud and Cheryl songs, like on a nightly basis, and her idol slash goddess slash muse was right there on the judging panel, and she was literally singing Call My Name to her idol, who she's named after, okay? There was absolutely no way that she was mucking this up, okay? Again, it was sad to see Blue go. I would have had them both stay because they were both so good in that lip sync, but Cheryl Cole was a bit better, so she deserved to stay. I've really grown to love Cheryl over this series. She's actually had one of the best storylines over the whole series because she started off as the villain in the first episode, but then she got called out for being fake for the cameras in the second episode, and that brought her crashing back down to earth. That made her become kind of the underdog of the series at that point because she was always placing in the middle, never quite in the top, never quite in the bottom, the mediocre queen. She is such a performer when she is singing or dancing or lip syncing. She is amazing, and I've grown to love her so much. I'm gonna wrap things up now, so I'm just gonna finish with some of my favorite bits of the episode. First of all, the Vivienne's runway look when she was the literal force of nature. That was incredible, one of my favorite looks all season. Another great moment this week came when the Vivienne got candid about her drug abuse in the past. That was so raw, emotional, and touching that she allowed herself to be vulnerable to the whole world that's watching and admitting that she had a problem, an addiction. I was so touched by that she was honest about it. Also, did the producers go up to Blue Hydrangea every week and say to her, okay, we need you to forcefully drop this topic of conversation whilst you guys get ready in the workroom. Let's talk about gay marriage not being legal in Northern Ireland. Check. Okay, this week we're talking about Section 28. Check. Okay, this week let's talk about drink and drug abuse. Can you do that for us, Blue? Of course. Check. Every time Blue brought up one of these topics of conversations, it was always so forced. All that was missing was a shot of the producers, poking Blue with a broom saying, now's your time to talk about drugs. But my favourite moment this week had to be that prizes bit where Baga and the Vivienne went off stage and Vivienne's hat and Baga's duck apparatus thing collided, and they went for that whole lovely, awkward, okay, you go that way, I'll go this way hug. brilliant. It was such a small but wonderful moment. Anyway guys, that was my review of RuPaul's Drag Race UK episode 6. I'm gonna give this episode a score of 7.5 out of 10, but I wanna hear from you guys. Now that we're in the top 4, who do you guys want to see win and who do you think should win? Whatever you guys think, be sure to let your voices be heard in that comment section down below. If you guys are enjoying these videos, don't forget to click subscribe, and if you want to follow me for all my updates on Twitter and Instagram, you can find all those links in that video description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Hirfield, and I'll see you next time.